Alright, let's talk about how I lost all my ad revenue in one video. I'm broke. Like, share, subscribe, buy some merch. I need help. I have to start this monologue off by begging because I've lost all of my ad revenue. What am I going to do? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to bring you up to speed on what's going on with the ad apocalypse. The TLDR, for the people who just want to know, yes or no, is it happening? It's not happening, but I understand why people think it's happening. And it's because people really don't understand the swing, the ups and flows of streaming and what advertising, as it pertains to advertising, what that means. And we'll have some examples, of course, of what it means. But we want to kind of give a full picture of why this is a talking point, who does it involve, and some of the key players and what their roles are in this. And if we're going to start anywhere, I think it's appropriate to start with Asmongold. Asmongold is a person who has suffered consequences for his horrific, repugnant, delirious associations for talking negatively about a whole entire demographic of people. Some people have called it racist. Some people have called it demonstratory. He has described it as demonstratory. Can be described as anti-religion. It could be described as it's a type of Islamic phobia. It's a religious phobia. It's a cultural phobia. It's a demographical discrimination. It can be described as a lot of things, but I made a video on this a while back, and I didn't think I would have to revisit this because Asmongold made an apology video. My plan moving forward, for all you guys that commented in my video, I was really puzzled, like, damn, did I make this up? Did Asmon Roach not apologize? But he did. And I found his apology to be sincere, accurate. This is it. I truly enjoyed his apology. Keeping in mind, his apology wasn't for me. It wasn't for my satisfaction. It was for the people he insulted. But there was a very important part about this video that he said in the video that we're going to watch that's going to help build the bigger, greater pauses. Stick with me. This is probably going to be a longer video, but if you got something you want to do in the background, put me on and just follow along. This is going to be great. So we're going to start off at the 2 minute and 59 seconds. Go.
Into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty, like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. And a lot of...
I just wanted you guys to grasp this concept. That's Asmongold describing how his being on the internet too much is creating this version of him that he doesn't like. And this level of introspection, this level of ability to speed run the process of growth, so to speak, is quite commendable. It's admirable. I'm not an Asmon fan by no stretch of the imagination, but I can acknowledge when people I don't like do the right thing. And the first step to, fixing something is acknowledging that it's broken. He's acknowledging that he's got some broken pieces within him, and I think it's super important for us to have that in context. At the 16 minute and 24th second, I'm saying this out loud so you guys can go do it, he says something else that is very important and pertinent to this current predicament. Let us indulge.
I'm not going to hire a cleaner. As I said, I was raised Roman Catholic. I view this as a penance. And I think I need to do this for myself. I need to take accountability for bad things that I've done and for letting my life get this out of control. And I don't need a get out of jail free card. Mm-hmm. So I need to do that for myself and for my own closure as well. And I think also I want to live for the idiots out there that, they're, like looking to me to be a role model, right? Oh, not a good idea. But there are people that will see that and they'll think maybe to themselves, maybe I should do the same thing.
Yes, Asmon, you're right. You have 3.1 million people subscribed to your YouTube channel. People will look to you. People will, without any control or restraint of your own, they will aspire to find a way of appeasing you through your parasocial connection that you have with them, or simply through them wanting to aspire to be you. There are many of people who are learning how to stream or learning how to put their content out there who want to amass an audience like this. With fame on the internet comes some form of fortune, and people want that. It's not nihilistic to think that people want it. I don't think that's problematic either. Who doesn't want to be acknowledged for the work that they do? But it's important that you guys hear him say he wants to be a better person, not just for himself, but because he understands his impact and reach. And once again, this is all important as to what the Adpocalypse has to do. Two more quick clips out of this, and we'll move on.
Piece of shit. It's like people said it was racist. I didn't mean it as racist, but if you listen to what I said, it's easy that you could assume that. So easy. And so I'm just a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking...
Asmongold acknowledges what he said could be perceived as racist. So when someone calls him racist, or Islamic phobia, or being discriminatory, derogatory towards a whole entire group of people and want to label that as a form of racism, he, in his own words, is acknowledging that, yeah, it's something that could easily be inferred because his actions were that atrocious. But I think the most important part of his speech, is this to me. 18 minutes and 47 seconds in.
Accountable to that. So if I'm being a fucking asshole again, if I'm being mean, if I'm just being callous, acting like a psychopath, just treating people awfully outside of a WoW raid when they get killed by fire, but really laughing at people's misfortune, try to say, man, just chill the fuck out, stop it. Just stop.
Asmongold, chill the fuck out. Just stop. Like, what's going on, bro? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you need to talk to? I don't know who can hold you accountable within your community, but that's what you're asking people to do. So I'm not part of your community. I don't watch your videos unless I'm talking about you, which is becoming a lot more. So let's start meeting on better terms. Asmon, what do you need in order to remove yourself from this equation? And I don't necessarily think you don't mean what you're saying in this video, even though that's what a lot of your followers will say. He didn't mean all of this. He's just saying this so he could get his money back, which is one of those weird things where it's like, way to stretch, man. Way to stretch. Real limber thought process over there. But you wanted people to hold you accountable. This is me, Hero, Coding with Strangers, my community, me, myself, and I, holding you accountable and trying our best to tell you to stop and back away from the ledge. What ledge do we want him to back away from? Well, it's this whole Adpocalypse thing. When he came back about 2 weeks afterwards, he immediately started pressing for other people who he felt had committed relative crimes of his caliber to his liking, that they also should receive punishment for their crimes. And I think the people that come to mind is Frogan and Hassan. And while Frogan's situation is something that she was punished for, I'm very much so of the mindset that talking ill will or negative of people is one thing. But veterans in America are a protected class, if my memory serves me correctly. So there are laws against that. So that's a business decision from Twitch, but there's also the ability to criticize your government and all entities of that, but without inciting violence. So I definitely understand and agree wholeheartedly why she was suspended. Hopefully she understands that. I don't watch Frogan's content. Hassan is somebody who has spent the better year of 10 years being one of the sole providers from his time back on TYT till now, talking about the disenfranchised group of people who will not have the same media positivity and reflection that any other gentrified or subjugated group or class of people will ever have. This is not an allotment that is given to them so willingly. It's just not. After 9/11, that became a group and demographic of people that were basically given free reign to talk about them. And this doesn't come by any shock or stretch of imagination. You know, living in America, we live in a propaganda type world, so it's very easy for you to fall into that. But that's where this situation comes from, because Asmongold is now making his whole vendetta about getting people banned and figuring out why certain people were getting banned. And the person of interest that he has focused on is Dan Saltman. Dan Saltman is somebody who was banned on the platform, and Asmongold wants there to be consequences on par of permabans for, like happened to Dan, to also happen to other people. But that's not me saying that for him. Let's hear him say it for himself.
What would happen if they don't ban for a month? I'm going to. Empty threat. We're going to get to that. So I went and I said that if this guy doesn't get banned for 2 weeks, I am going to bring Dan Saltman, who is the guy who has been talking about all of the anti-Semitism. And by the way, I don't want to spoil a whole lot, but he and I have had extensive conversations about this. Maybe not extensive, but we've talked for a bit about this. All of the information that's going to come out has not come out. And in fact, some of the most damaging information has not come out yet. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers or anything like that, but that's what's going on. And so anyway, Twitch has had a massive problem. And
so Dan is somebody he wants to align himself with. Asmongold wants to be the trophy horse for Dan Saltman. I don't know who Dan is. I don't know much about him. But what I do know about Dan, he seems to be very much obsessed. And I say this unlikely because every time I look at his clips and videos, they revolve around Hassan Piker. He is obsessed with him. And another close associate of Dan is Destiny. So with those two things in mind now, things become a little bit clearer for me to make not a full judgment idea of this, but it does make it a little bit easier. But just to show you, I saw this clip and it just made me think, like, okay, what is he? Watch this clip and tell me what you think. I still can't figure it out.
What was happening here? That we got an ad. That's weird. How did we get an ad on Hassan's page? Oh, it's because Hassan was hosting someone, but I was still on this page, and the ad plays right here. Okay? This is a legitimate thing that happened. Okay? Hassan was hosting someone. Thank you for hosting someone, Hassan. We were actually on this URL right here.
J Balvin, we're so proud of your sponsorship with
This is a great
Cheetos.
site.
Let's get you on our wall of fame.
We're not associated with the brand below.
My mom gonna be so proud.
Cheetos, official sponsor of J Balvin's Fingertips.
Oh, what's happening now?
Democrat.
Now we click the link and look at what we're watching.
So this is Dan obsessing over the fact that Hassan has ads. And this is something that you got to understand. Hassan, during this event, which was, I think this was when? A month ago. So this was during the time where Hassan had a contract, and with his contract he has ads. And even if he did remove ads from his thing, Twitch has the ability to enforce ads on people's streams, specifically their VODs, which that is. So Twitch has the ability to pick and choose. They have that power. That's a no-brainer. But Dan himself probably wouldn't be such a bad guy. You're allowed to obsess over whoever you are. It's better to ask for consent, but do what you got to do, Dan. But Dan is a person who has a close affiliation with someone named Destiny. Now, Destiny is somebody that I only know as as like truly brain rot. Whenever someone starts bringing up Destiny, I just immediately know that this person's online too much, and this is probably my sign that I have to go on another vacation really soon. But Destiny is a person that I can surmise as who had some good ideas in the beginning, and probably had a lot of things he stood up for in the beginning, but immediately devolved into like this crazy pantheon of like rhetoric about being anti-Semitic, choosing when to just using slurs whenever he wants and saying that he can't help himself, and surrounding himself around people who are okay with openly using slurs and defending those things. This is a person who defended why it would be okay to amass like PDF files and things like that. This is a person who has fallen off of the deep end. So like this clip kind of talks about their association, because I didn't know that Dan was closely associated with Destiny until I saw this.
In a recent stream, Dan Saltman exposes the truth about Destiny's Twitch ban, confirming that Twitch employee hates Destiny so much that they made a note in his file so he never gets unbanned from Twitch. Here is the clip.
This guy is in Destiny's ticket, in his file, there's a thing in there that says, do not even touch Destiny's account or even think about unbanning him until you talk to me. That's who this guy is right here. This is the guy. The guy. And he's like, what's the problem with hiring someone that was previously stepped down in front of Parliament for hating Israel? I think they're totally based. This is the person in the file. Do not unban or touch this without first reaching out to me.
Funny how this was pretty obvious.
So basically, he's mad because Destiny was banned and permanently banned, and people, and for you to think within an organization such as Twitch that if someone was banned from the platform and the person who banned them doesn't deserve to be notified of why they're going to be unbanned, that's one, weird. Two, it's not like he made a personal decision or doesn't just like Destiny. Destiny probably broke TOS. And you want to know something that's really unfortunate? Or maybe more fortunate. If you break terms of service, you will be banned on multiple platforms. That's just how it works. Go ask Dr. Kid Inspect. He's still not monetized on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. But yeah, that makes perfect sense. You want to know why? You want to know one of the many reasons why Destiny, because this web just continues to grow. And Twitch is not perfect. Right? Twitch is not perfect. I'm a founder on Twitch. I get to see how the meat and potatoes are made. It needs help, and it's continue to grow and get better. But just because something doesn't work, this is one of the weirdest talking points. Just because something doesn't work doesn't mean you have to burn it to the ground. That obsession with wanting to destroy things that do not work when they have good intention, and it only seems to happen when it's for a positive cause or creating safe spaces for people who need them. That's when they want to destroy something. Because I could give you a perfect example right now, right? Let's say, for example, on Twitch. So here on Twitch, right? Here are my tags on Twitch right now. My tags on Twitch are stock, money, ad friendly, coding, JavaScript, Python, fun, chill, vibe, USA. I have made this on purpose for today. This isn't normally what my tags say, but I just wanted to show people how Twitch sometimes drops the ball when they don't necessarily mean to. USA, for example, has been accepted. This has been updated perfectly fine. But if I replace USA with, say, Nigeria, which is where I'm from, born and raised, you feel me? Shout out Nigerian Super Eagles. If I put that in and hit update, where basically when I had Nigeria posted up here, it didn't allow me to do that at first. It didn't allow me to say Nigeria. It placed it out, and it told me, and it sent me a notification to replace it. But the whole point of me doing this is to show you that, yeah, sometimes Twitch fucks up, but let's try and build and make it better, because that's the only way it's going to get better. Destroying it only takes money and food out of people's mouth. And of course, it's very hard for people like Destiny, Hassan, Asmongold. All of these people make well over, probably are millionaires in their own rights. So they don't really see the people trying to come up in the world, like myself and a few other streamers who use this as a form of a form of survival. To the person who is making $60,000 off of streaming, that is a lifeline. But why is it important for Destiny to get back platformed? Why would we want this person to be platformed? I mean, Destiny's the person who platformed the dude named Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes has literally a relationship to Destiny. He platformed this dude and gave him the ability to stream to 14,000 people. Nick Fuentes, also known commonly as Nick Fuentes, more accurately Booger Nick, is a Hispanic American white nationalist, populist Christian nationalist, conservative political commentator, conspiracy theorist, and anti-Semite. That is literally how he is defined. This is the person. The same Nick Fuentes that came up with the slogan, "Your body, my choice," and paraded that all over the place as he wears the Make America hat again. This is not a person you should be affiliated with and expect to keep a platform on social media that has terms of services that don't allow it. You could do that on Rumble. You could do that on Kick, maybe. I don't even think he's allowed on Kick. So there's only a few places you can spew this level of hate and get away with it. And Twitch is not one of them. They're allowed to decide who they want to do business with, right? But it got me thinking, what did Twitch do or say to change their rules up? As part of their hateful conduct policy, we prohibit the use in terms that may not be harmful or abusive in isolation, but can be used as a slur to denigrate others in certain contexts. In line with that approach, starting today, using the term Zionist to attack or demean another individual or group of people on the basis of their background or religious belief is against our rules. They recognize that this is a situation, so they also gave a caveat. We recognize that Zionist and Zionism is referred to political movements. Using the term to refer to the political movements, whether in support or critical way, does not violate our hateful conduct policy. So it's important for us to understand context, that this is a political thing, which made me then want to make sure I understood the definition of what a Zionist is. A Zionist is someone who supports the establishment of Jewish state in Israel, the historic homeland of the Jewish people. The term Zionist comes from the Zion, a hill near Jerusalem that is considered to be the dwelling place of God in Jerusalem. So basically it's to assert that only Jewish people should live in Israel, which would go in counter protest of what people have been calling the genocide of the Palestinians, who also occupy Israel. So that's where it comes from. It comes from defining or describing a group of people who want to see actions be done to guarantee purity of a piece of land, which would, no matter who else occupies it, would also be put of it. So then this then takes us to the further escalation, because technically we've only talked about how Asmongold is associating himself with bad people, and these bad people want to cause the deplatforming of other people because they want their people back on the platform. But we haven't really talked about how this affects the ads. Like I said, we're going on a trip to figure out everything that's going on here. So now let's talk about Hassan and Ethan Klein. Hassan Piker and Ethan Klein were actually people who worked together at one point. And, you know, when mommy and daddy are fighting, you got to let the adults adult, but keep the kids out of it. And I will say this. I don't really follow Ethan as well, but I do follow Hassan. I don't agree with everything he says. In fact, there's a lot of times that I feel like he needs to log the fuck off. He's chronically online, and while his positions, for the most part, I would say 80% I probably agree with, the remaining 20 probably just comes as a disagreement for me because of his approach. His approach is bar none probably the most crass and more like he doesn't really want to come across as as gentle or even explaining lightheartedly. And not to say that he doesn't have moments where he does this on his stream. There's many a times I've seen on his stream where he has taken a comment that I thought he would definitely ban this person because of it, but he actually took a heartfelt approach to explain it. But I think he sort of jabs at everybody, not really being sure of what to do. And maybe he's gotten better with this, but I think a lot of his messaging is lost in his delivery. And that's going to be the same for anybody, anywhere you go. So for me, it's very clear. I think Ethan is wrong in this situation. Ethan is very much trying to paint a picture of Hassan that doesn't exist. And people like Asmongold, Destiny, and Dan are trying to latch on to make Hassan Piker the most hated person on the internet. But once again, it's easy to hate on Hassan because he is defending the weak and powerless. He is actually the minority in this situation, and his aesthetics makes it seem like he's not part of it, because looking at him from outside in, he just looks like a typical white guy. So why isn't he for everything that the establishment says it should be? Now they'll use talking points like, oh, he platformed a Houthi pirate. You're talking to a black guy. Yeah, all of my favorite heroes all have police records and FBI files. So you're not going to really impress me with, oh, he's talking to people designated terrorists. You want to know who else is who's designated as a terrorist group in this country? The insane clown posse, the people that wear the makeup on the face. What are those people called? They spray the Fuga stuff all over the soda. They're considered the CIA or NSA or FBI. One of them were the ones that marked MLK, put the informant in X's group, right? The Black Panther Party. They were dismantled for serving kids breakfast. They put a file on Rosa Parks just because she didn't get up out of her seat. These are all people the government calls bad things. Remember when the government told us they had weapons of mass destruction too? For the government to be a thing that you can't trust and also we must follow to the T, it's really confusing when you guys pick and choose when to be with the government. I don't believe nothing until it's put into my hands. So having this assertion or anything like that is mind-boggling. But Ethan has been stretching to try and make a connection to anti-Semitic talking points and establishing them with Hassan. It's just not thing. And Ethan really crossed the line for me when he played a game called Streamer or Terrorist, and one of I think the 30 people he mentioned, primarily the 30 people being like Fresh and Fit and a bunch of other streamers who have said horrendous things and anti-Semitic things. The one that was stretched with Hassan wasn't even a thing. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, you acknowledge that you can't find nothing on this dude, but you can't let it go because for some strange reason you have I don't know. I just don't understand what it is that has got him on this vengeful crusade, but it's not working in his favor, and it's definitely not helping that he doesn't have any good talking points. But that's where it primarily started. Now we move, but before I even leave this, and just remember, if you're worried about anti-Semitic people being vocalized and being platformed, you are always more than welcome to join the resistance. Because Ethan, for you to be concerned about someone who doesn't have anti-Semitic takes and might and just because he supports the minority ethnic race in that area, that territory, and he speaks for them and he platforms them and he gives them the ability and sings their praises and understands the importance of helping them establish their space in Israel. Just because you don't understand his concern with watching people who have less than want more doesn't mean you can't go after the people who are currently being anti-Semitic, right? Ethan, come on down to Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, where they're flying Nazi flags in broad daylight. Ethan, go be the hero we need.
The people.
Well, thank you. Ethan, go be the hero, bro. Go to Columbus, Ohio and set up your podcast situation and stream and say, we won't stand for this. Because you want to know who did do it, who showed up? Okay, perfect. After the neo-Nazis had a march on the same block the day later, Brian Winston, president of the 100 Black Men for Central Ohio, speaks to fellow black men in the area in a business on Sunday, November 17th, after the neo-Nazi march. Ethan, for all the energy you wasted trying to attack Hassan, there are people out here getting work in. And it's not a shock to me that it's a group of black men, because we've been doing this since the inception of America. We built America and we understand how to keep it going. We got to combat hate. So while you really out here looking for people to be angry at, come on down to Columbus, Ohio and be the hero we need you to be, Ethan. But now we can finally, now that we have all of the setup before, we can finally ask the question, is the ad apocalypse happening? If you talk to some streamers, they will say yes. And the reason why they're going to say yes is because they don't understand how the algorithm works. Let's watch the streamer who understands the algorithm and how it works.
Went to my tags, and my tags were, my normal tags. But I had a tag that said election because I had covered the market's reaction to the election. Not politics, not personal politics, not policy, just the market's reaction. And so Friday before stream, I decided to take that tag off. I took off veteran as well, just in case. And guess what? It came back. So there's not a fucking adpocalypse. I never said there was an adpocalypse. I said that I'm being affected by other people's shit. And so what did I do? I took off the election tag, and guess what happened? My money came back. So sorry, drama frogs who were like, this is an adpocalypse. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is a advertising thing that is happening with a specific subset on the platform, and I took it off, and guess what? I'm back.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it works. To give a little bit more context to that, we're in the holiday season, towards the end of the year, where everyone's books are pretty much dried up, so there's not much room or money left for advertising. And if there is a form of advertising, it's all correlated and directed towards shopping. This is brick and mortar, black market, Black Friday. They're already talking about Christmas sales and all of those things. They were talking about it. The Black Friday commercial I saw was immediately the day of Halloween. So it's happening. It's happening. The books are dried up. They're gonna try and make as much money as possible. The advertisement's done. It's holiday season. People are just gonna be looking for the best deals. And can we just flat out say, like, maybe we shouldn't fall into this trap of the holiday season capitalism, because now all of a sudden the sales are coming out, and I'm almost convinced that the sales I will probably cover a video about this tomorrow, but there's no way in hell you're telling me you all of a sudden have the ability to give us affordable stuff during the closing quarters to make sure that your books end off in the black and not in the red. Seems kind of sus, but we'll probably talk about it tomorrow. But I understand how my tags work. Once again, I put already in my tags. For example, I know all of the keyword tags that work. This is a simple SEO thing, right? If you want to get the highest you can get for ad revenue and generation, you have to talk about money. You have to talk about banking. You have to talk about crypto. You have to talk about stocks, dividends. All of those things give you the most bang for your buck in the ad revenue file. Second thing is makeup, fashion, marketable things like buying things. Third thing I think comes into video games, and I think the fourth thing is then sports. But sports betting and things like that also mesh and do very well too. So like, you just need to understand your algorithm in order to better optimize it. For me, I'm almost when I looked at this situation, oh shit, I kicked my camera, sorry. During the presidential elections, and because I said the word elections, I know they're definitely just marked me off on Twitch. Sorry, on TikTok. I know for a fact they've already marked me off on TikTok. Oh wait, they actually didn't. Okay, I'll keep my eye on it. I'll see what they can do. But basically, during the election, we were talking about the election, so my ad revenue dropped really low for that section. It literally, it changed. I should have had this on screen. Literally, the moment I mentioned it, the results of the Associated Press. See, so like it will tag you. And they have AI bots listening to it. That was the first time I mentioned the election, and it popped up immediately on TikTok. So we know that this thing is listening to us, and we know that that's how it works. And ads will not play on TikTok because of it. And that's just something you have to be comfortable with. That's just something you have to be comfortable with. Platforms are allowed to decide how they want to do things on their platform, as long as they do it equally amongst themselves. So I just showed you an example of how quickly this shit can happen, right? Shout out to whoever said what's up to me on TikTok. But ultimately, where do we go from here, right? And this is just what we were talking about, like how to understand the algorithm, how to understand what ads work and what's not. That streamer just told us everything we need to know. So basically, at the end of the day, what do we come into terms with? The fact of the matter is, there is no ad apocalypse. If you made it all the way to the end of this, hopefully I've shown you enough empirical or anecdotal evidence that why it's not happening. Also, I haven't noticed anything other than the day that we streamed about the election. That was the only time I noticed it, which is perfectly fine. If that's how they want to do it, let them do it. The problem is we cannot continue to try and give people who are crying like Asmongold, Dan, and all of these other people who are chronically online, Nick Fuentes, Destiny. We cannot give these people the platform or the benefit of the doubt that they're Ethan Klein trying to do something to help the general people. They want to create an ad apocalypse, which is going to hurt as many people. For everyone who's not a millionaire on Twitch, that is going to affect you. And if you're watching this, you're probably not a millionaire. So that's why you need to help make me a millionaire, because then you can say a millionaire, and I'm going to fight for you. You feel me? I'm going to do whatever I can to help you, but only after I get my million. Like, share, subscribe, buy some merch, support your boy. There is no ad apocalypse.